The gap is the space between that tip and this part of the spark plug. That's the gap. And you want it to be, as I mentioned.
Hello everyone, Spanglish Garage here, and today we're gonna be replacing not only the ignition coils but also the spark plugs. In my channel we don't waste any time, so let's get to it. And we begin by removing the engine cover if you still have it. And as soon as we remove that cover, the ignition coils, voila, right there. Make sure you watch the entire video because I'm gonna be sharing with you some do's and don'ts that you don't wanna miss.
Now removing the ignition plug, we have this 10mm bolt that we need to remove. Coil itself, this one is the coil. In order to disconnect that plug, all we have to do is press on this tab and pull, and just like that, as you can see, it was super simple. We disconnected, and now we're gonna take this bolt out, and then we will be able to remove this old ignition coil. I'm gonna take this one as a reference. The process is the same for all of them. And just like that, you take your ignition coil out. Okay, now for the spark plug, we're gonna be using a 5/8 or 16mm socket with a long extension. Changing the spark plugs on your Toyota Camry with the 2.5L engine can give you a lot of benefits. We will talk about that in just a moment. I'm gonna use a magnet, and we got the plug out. I was just testing the plug to see how it was. For you, imagine this is a new plug and you want the gap to be 0.044. The gap is the space between that tip and this part of the spark plug. That's the gap. And you want it to be, as I mentioned, 0.44, somewhere around there.
Wait a moment here. You're only gonna be gapping the spark plugs if it is required. Some spark plugs are pre-gapped, therefore there is no need to do in the gap. Now, how do you know if you need to do this or not to your spark plug? You can find that information on the box where the spark plug comes in. It will say pre-gap. If it says pre-gap, you don't have to worry about this step. If not, then you have to do it.
And the way you're gonna do it is you're gonna need one of these. These are really cheap. You can find them at your local auto parts store, and you're gonna place it in between right here, and you're gonna make sure that your spark plug stops right there at 0.044. If it's more than that, then you're gonna close it a little bit by tapping on it, or if it is less, then you're gonna wiggle it a little bit to open the gap. Once you set it to your gap specification, then we're gonna place the spark plug back. So you're gonna put it inside your socket and back to the car. On this Toyota Camry, I was just checking the spark plugs. That's why I'm reinstalling the old one. But I'm assuming that you are watching this video because you want to install a new spark plug. Therefore, just imagine that this spark plug that I'm putting back is the new one, because there is really nothing else to it. Now, for setting the torque on the spark plug, you're gonna give it a snug fit. But if you have one of these, it's a lot better. This is a torque wrench, and you want to set it to 13 foot-pound. That's the torque that each spark plug is gonna be set to. I'm gonna be using this. If not, that's okay. Just give it a snug fit and you should be good to go. Now that we got the spark plug in place, next is gonna be our new ignition coil. Now for the installation of the ignition coil, make sure you have a match one, and as you can see, this one matches. Make sure you do this before installing the coil to avoid any trouble. All right, so now we're gonna place it back. This is the new one. I'm gonna place it back right here, right on top of the spark plug. And as you can see, we got right here the bolt that we removed, and we're gonna be putting it back right in here, and this was a 10mm. All right, and we're gonna tighten this to about 10 foot-pound, not more than that. I would say probably less than that, around 5 foot-pound. Now that we have this in place, we only have to reconnect it, as simple as that. And as you can see, just like that, we replace the ignition coil and the spark plug. The process, as I mentioned before, is the same for all of them. I'm not gonna bore you with the whole process. Since you know how to do it in once, you will be more than qualified to do the rest. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one. Now it's time for some benefits of changing the spark plugs. Replacing your spark plugs on your Toyota Camry isn't just about maintenance. It actually saves you money on gas, gives your car smoother acceleration, prevents misfires, and even helps protect expensive parts like catalytic converters. It is one of the easiest ways to keep your engine healthy and reliable for years to come. Thank you for watching, and as I mentioned, see you in the next one.